Straight out of the shadows where the system lurks. Tiff and the Punisher barricade, exposing the jerks. CPS stealing kids, but we fight back fierce. Amendments locked and loaded, pierced through the pierce. Yo, listen up, America, the dream's gon' foul. CPS wolves howling, stealing with a scowl. Tiffany dropping knowledge like bombs in the hood. The Punisher riding shotgun, understood. They talk real talk on the mic every week, exposing the lies, making bureaucrats weak. From false reports to courtroom wars, podcasts arming parents settling scores. One amendment at a time, we reclaim the throne. Families united, no more alone. Tiff's 5 fierce Punishers ain't true. Crush the machine, what you gonna do? Tiff and the Punisher, podcast on blast, fighting CPS, making them pass. One amendment strong, kids coming home, systems crumbling, we own the zone. Tiff and the Punisher, truth in the air, parents empowered, no more despair. Download the app, join the siege, justice for all, feel the prestige. Yo. They dive deep into the corruption pit. Tiff breaking it down, Punisher spitting grit. Stories from the front lines, tears turn to steel. Amendments as weapons, make the oppressors kneel. No more midnight rage, no more fabricated claims. Podcast blueprint for winning the games. From coast to coast, the revolution spreads. Families rising, putting fears to bed. Tiff's wisdom sharp, Punisher's wrath cold. Together they go, stories untold. Hit play, get schooled, arm up for the fight. CPS Punisher podcast, ignite the light. See, back in the day, families were tight, but now the system's stealing in the dead of night. Tiff and the Punisher, they the real MVPs, teaching you to battle, set your people free. Amendments ain't just words on old paper, they swords in the war, cut through the vapor. Yo, podcast dropping episodes like clips in the mag. Load up your mind, wave the freedom flag. Tiff's voice echo through the urban sprawl. Punisher's tactics make the mighty fall. No cap, this the truth serum you need against CPS greed. Plant the seed, subscribe now, spread the word wide. Tiff and the Punisher, ride or die. America's waking, the tide's gonna turn. Podcast fueling the burn, watch them learn. Tiff and the Punisher, podcast on blast, fighting CPS, making them pass. One amendment strong, kids coming home, systems crumbling, we own the zone. Tiff and the Punisher, truth in the air, parents empowered, no more despair. Download the app, join the siege, justice for all, feel the prestige. Tiff and the Punisher. Yo, Tiff and the Punisher, real talk, real change. CPA's down, families out the cage. Peace. Yeah.
Tiff and the Punisher, they won't back down. Fight for the children in every town. They are taking our kids every day. I try to admit and no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. Listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids away. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, God damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up by thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop.
What's up, Tiff?
Hey there. Make
Look at
us
us on
bigger, please.
It's time to grow up.
Yeah. Yep.
Here we go. There we are. Here we are. We're here. I washed my face, so that's better. It's a little smoky. I've been pushing the beard. Every year I'm like, I'm gonna grow a beard, and I'm like, I don't know. It gets to this point, and I feel dirty, and But in Maine, I guess you should have a beard. You never know. You never know when you need a beard. I don't know if it works in a CPS case for or against you, but maybe they would appreciate a good beard in the CPS cases.
Yeah, I
Something
think some of
different.
them women just need men. Shit.
Well, that's the truth. And that's the thing. These women need to be careful because and I'm being serious here. Women are so vulnerable right now when they're in these situations, especially the ones that they get, that they make their husbands move away and separate and everything. And this is for real advice. You don't have to take it. You don't have to do anything with it, but just proceed with caution when you have men approaching you about certain things in your CPS case and wanting to help you out and just do certain things for you, just because there's a lot of predators out there. There really is. There's a lot of predators out there, and there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of beautiful women out there that have lost their kids. All of our people that watch our shows and all of this stuff, and there's just a lot of nasty, sick people out in this world that are willing to come and tell you that they'll give you everything that you could possibly need and want and everything else. And because your guard has been so damaged and down, you'll believe it and accept it. And the next thing you know, you're scammed out of either money or the last bit of hope you have or something, So, just please, ladies and men, if you know, if some women are trying to scam you or something, I don't know what to say. Just careful, but for real, for the women, you know, like be very careful and be very cautious about who you have helping you with your cases. And I don't just mean it on the men's side either, but you know, women, everything. Just make sure there's a lot of people out there that are trying to just capitalize on what's going on here. A lot of them. This is starting to become a trending thing. This CPS, you know, like being cool with CPS. Um, there's a lot of people that replicate what we do here, and I'm going to go out on a limb, and it's not even a limb. I'll stand tall on the top of the tree. Say a lot of people take our information, spread it around, share it, alter it, and then make it whatever it's theirs, and that's fine. That's what we want. We want people to take the information, but when they're using it for the bad of things, like I'm watching people all of a sudden are popping up with apps everywhere now. All of a sudden, everybody's got an app. And the reason that I know that they're lying is because I truly have been working on this for 2 years. You know, like I know what I've been doing. There's a reason that when our app is finally out in 100%, which should be in the next day or two, thankfully, please God, make things go through smooth, uh, finally. But I know that, and you'll be able to see the difference in what people are trying to crank out now and throw out at you and trying to capitalize off of you. Um, Before you know, like our CPS Punisher app can get out and you can get it, which has the free version and then it has paid versions and everything. But this thing is far superior. So, but what we're already seeing is people jumping out and they're saying, "Oh, I've been working on this for a long time." You freaking liar, man! You son of a bitch liar! You know, like go ahead. You want to go? Let's go inch for inch. Let's prove this. Let's prove that you've been working on this as long as we have been, for real. And like, because you know what? No one says that stuff secondary. No one says, "Oh, I've been working on this for a long time." When people have already come out and like we announced it. We announced it, and the reason that we announced it is so that we could go through a month of testing and find out where the errors and flaws were when people were messing with it. Like that's you know like that's part of the quality of things that we do. You know, and you need to make sure that if you're getting yourself involved with any other person, any other advocate, any other anything, that they're willing to go that same distance for you and make sure that they're giving you 100% of what you deserve to have, because it's so easy to be taken advantage of now and so easy to have your hope ruined when it shouldn't be, and so easy for that just to be your last shot and call it a day. So please just make sure you guys research what you're doing, who you're doing things with, and make sure that it's legitimate. You know what? We're transparent as hell here, and that's because that's the way we've designed it and made it. You know, we everything you know is in the open. I mean, and everything that you ask was in the open. You know, there are people out there. They've got the skeletons in their closet. They're doing things for other reasons. Just please be careful and watch what you do. Watch who you give your credit card numbers to, and most importantly, watch who you hand your kids to when you're trying to win these cases, because that right there, that precious cargo is what this is all about. And if that's not what they're all about, 86 their asses, because they're not about that, then they shouldn't even be around you. So that's all I got to say about that. You got anything to add, Tiff?
Well, a couple of things. Um, Now I understand that people, need to be paid for their time and their work. But again, I want to reiterate that if somebody's guaranteeing you or promising you or giving you hope, if it's too good to be true, it is. Um, there was a conversation I think I was having with Kathleen, um, where she's actually telling people to stop stealing people's money. Um, and I said, I've been doing this over almost 37 years. If there was a silver bullet, I would have found it by now.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Facts.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, what I do to
You have a
get the kids
system.
out of foster care, it's
Mm-hmm.
not a silver bullet because it only works 80 or 82% of the time.
Which
We
is a
need it
good
to work.
number.
Well, yeah, but we need it to work 100% of the time.
Right.
And
Well, there's
what
only
works,
one thing that's 100% Tiff, and you know what that
uh,
is. There's only one thing in life that'll get you 100% of the time. So you can't put your standard too high.
right.
98, 98%.
But what works for me might not work for somebody else, and what works for somebody else might not work for us. So
Hmm.
just be careful, like Darren said, especially because there's some perverts out there. I'm not going to lie. If they don't want your money, they want to sleep with you.
Hmm.
Um, so just be careful. And even though we do this show, you all should still be researching stuff that we tell you.
That's right. Absolutely. Don't take our word for it because it's for educational purposes and entertainment and all that stuff
Right.
anyway. Um, so, but I agree. That's the best advice you could possibly give, is make sure you do your own homework. Um, it's your fight to lose, really. It really is. And it's your fight to lose a lot if you don't pay attention to, because it's so easy to get engulfed in these. Um, let's just make a fictitious situation, for example, right? So you got a person coming out and they've got some sort of new following. First of all, you got to ask yourself, how the hell did this person that came out of nowhere all of a sudden have 5, 10,000 followers? Where did they get these people from? Because we've been doing this for uh, me and you together just for the past year and a half, right? About that
Mhm.
year and a half. We just went over the year and everything.
Yeah.
So, but collectively, we have maybe 2,000 subscribers. Maybe together on Facebook, you have like 5,000 friends or followers or whatever, and I think I have like 2,500. So we don't even have a 10,000 mark. And you've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing it for like 4 or 5. So out of that time period, they we don't even have these numbers. So you got to wonder, how do these people get those numbers? Well, first of all, they buy them. They pay for them. They go online. There's companies that allow you to buy people that are this, that, or the other. That should tell you something in itself. Now, do they reach other people? Certainly do. Somehow, some way, they do. They reach these big audiences, and now all of a sudden, you have these people that are in these groups, right? So now you're finally getting heard, right? Your voice is getting heard. So you think, that this person and this person that's sitting at the epicenter of this is like, rah, rah, shish kumbah, go out, get your Congress guy to sign this. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. Go do this stuff. And now you think that you're part of something. You think that someone cares. And you're trying to, and they're just feeding you on, like make sure you start these subgroups. Well, really what you're doing is these people's legwork to grow their popularity. Um, so there's no transparency. You feel good because you think you're getting somewhere. Now, the good thing that you are getting out of it is you're meeting quality people, hopefully, that are really willing to be there for you and help you and assist us, because nobody should go at this alone. Um, the best thing that you can do is ally up with a group. Make yourself a group. Maybe you don't need to be a part of a group. Make yourself a group people you trust, that you guys can sit around all night long and drink coffee and tea and smoke cigarettes and powwow about, when maybe you talk about your story, maybe you talk about strategy, whatever, but make it a group that you trust, because what these people are doing, some of these groups, is they're actually not giving two shits about you, but they're taking your information and they're using that as a status drive for themselves. Now, I'm not pointing out anybody in specific that's doing that. I'm just saying that this is some of the things that they're doing. So you, in feeling like, oh man, I feel warm and fuzzy about these people, are really nothing more than a number driven person. The second thing that we have out there are these groups that are forming, and they are really just diversions to make you not pay attention to what the truth is and what's really working. So they take 10,000 of you and they drive you in the complete wrong direction. Every year something changes. Like, we all swarm to this now. Now it's kind of crazy because I didn't believe this, but Candace Edwards and I, 3 years ago, we were on the Cesta Q thing, and the Cesta Q thing wasn't being really spoken about that much. And when we were bringing it up, people thought we were crazy. But now it's like dinner talk, like everybody's Cesta Q, Cesta Q, Cesta Q. The reality is, the Cesta Q really there? Is all of that stuff, like Tiffany said, don't you think if that thing's been in play for thousands of years or 1,000 years or 500 years or 700 years, by now at least one person could come out and tell you that um, I broke the system myself? Because all this is people telling you uh, how they think you could do it or do it, because ain't nobody a billionaire out there telling you how to do this shit. And if they are, they got their billions and ran because they schemed the government somehow. Now they're hiding in some Cayman Island somewhere so they don't get in trouble. They're not out there telling you how to do it. So then just be careful with that stuff, right? So now your hope's gone. You've been lied to again. Your safety net's gone. All of this stuff. You've got to realize what you're putting into these groups. You don't even realize what you're doing and how vulnerable that you are. Maybe you gave money to them, maybe you didn't, but at the end of the day, you're sitting there, your kids are gone, your friends are gone in that circle, your hope's gone, and your wallet's broken because you spent your last damn dollar believing that something that these people were talking about was true and real. And then guess what? That person is no longer in existence. Their numbers aren't up on the screens. Their numbers aren't anywhere. You're not seeing them in Facebook groups anymore. Um, I pray to God that they didn't do the ultimate thing, but maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But the thing is, that sucks, is they are out of the loop. They're out of the loop now. They've removed themselves from their support network now, whether it was their own or whatever. But they're gone now because, man, it takes a lot to fight this thing. It really does. And you know what? Some people, it's their last. This is all they got is what they can put into this fight. And when they give that up, that's it. It's over for them. So now, are they not only failures to themselves, but they failed their kids? They failed everything because they exerted all their extra energy on some bullshit asshole that doesn't give two shits about them, spent their money on things that weren't real, didn't work, or you were lied to about doing it, and tried to go to court with some foozy woozy fucking scenario that's not even realistic and no one even knows what the hell you're talking about.
Mm,
All of that because you decided to follow some group and listen. You know what? So I'm just telling you all, and I know this. You know what? I bought every damn $50 package out there that you could, from make your own courtroom to CPSR us and whatever the frick they said. If they said that I could get my kid back, I was buying the shit. I think that's where like the first quarter of my retirement that we were out of now went to. Was just this, overnight, get your kids home tomorrow. I believed this stuff. I didn't know because I thought I was the only one out there at the time. I didn't think, my mindset was there's no way that the rest of the world knows about this because how are they allowing this to happen? So when I saw something come up, I'm like, oh, we got to try this. Why wouldn't we? And it was just
how'd that
energy
work
waste.
out for you?
Yeah, energy wasted. You know. So now all we can do is sit here and tell you things that we'll recommend stuff to you. We give you information. Never do we say that we're going to guarantee that your kids come home. Never do we say that. The stuff that we give you is opinions, and we will, and they're things that we've learned, like Tiff says, you know, and the thing that you can't ever, like my wife says, um, you can't ever count on. It's not count on the corruption that is going to be involved in this. You can't foresee that. So even though you're trying to lay down everything in the freaking world that makes sense, this courts don't make sense. They don't have rules. They're administrative hearings, most will say. Like all of this stuff. So how can you beat something when they don't themselves even have the rules? This is a big, big money grab. That's all this is. And we don't even know the number of dollars that are truly out there. We know what we think, where we're told, but that doesn't even account for the scams or the people that the nurses that are paid off, like to go make sure that they call up and they know that there's a user that came in and had a baby to call CPS, like maybe someone's pockets are greased that way, maybe like, hey, listen, if someone comes in and it's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby, and you can fake a drug test from them so that we can get that baby, we'll give you $1,000. It's not a far cry to say that these things aren't happening. So just be cautious. That's all I really wanted to say. And I'm sorry if I just wasted 22 minutes of your life, but I hope that it was a good 22 minutes and that you will one day, if someone is trying to scam on you or scheme on you or whatever, hopefully you're going to be like, oh shit, Tiff and the Punisher was talking about this, and I'm going to switch my Facebook group right now because I don't want to be a part of any of this bullshit. And
Yeah,
that's
and I'm
all.
gonna say you do need to watch what groups you're in. Oh, I'm in a lot of groups, a lot of them, but I'm not in there. And if I do talk, it's because something caught my eye. But other than that, I just watch these groups, and I'm like, and if I do talk now, I just put watch Tiff and the Punisher YouTube channel.
Right?
That's
And
what I put.
you know who watches Tiff and the Punisher YouTube channel?
Ew.
Brian. Brian's right there. He is. Brian, thank you so much for our Christmas night. We had a great time being on a field trip with
Yeah, we
you,
did.
and your marathon was great. Other than the YouTube people throwing you out, but I hope that you had a really good turnover. If you guys didn't get to see Brian's the marathon, I'm pretty sure that he's got it streaming somewhere. Brian, if you could throw
Wait,
that up in the chat right there, we'd really appreciate it if you have it airing somewhere, because I know a lot of people were saying that they missed it, or and they want to check it out. So I don't know if you have that somewhere or that's up and coming, but Brian did a really great job with that, guys, and he deserves to get you guys to go over there and watch his stuff and watch his stuff, see what he's about, see what he's done, because he's done a fabulous job. Supposedly he's starting his podcasts back up, his RFIRN network, radio network, which we're going to make sure that we push our asses in on him with that. So I'm sure that you'll be able to hear us there and him here. So look for that to come. But yeah, Brian, thank you very much. Oh, sorry, Tiff. I just wanted to get that little plug out while you're saying that.
oh no, I was gonna say pretty much what you said too. I definitely wanted to thank him because I did have fun. Um, and I hope we can join next year too.
Yeah, we definitely will be there next year, but we're gonna probably have to change the topic. How many kids? We got to stop the flow of kids coming home. Hopefully, right? Like they're coming out in so many droves that it's going to look like, I don't know what it will look like, but it'll look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of little kids going.
Mm.
Oh, you know what? I know what it would look like. Hold on, let me see. I know what it would possibly look like. Wherever the little button is that I'm supposed to push. Why do you keep moving these damn buttons around? Piss me off. I'll tell you guys what we hope it looks like next year. Hopefully it looks like right here. Hopefully it looks like this. Maybe if it comes up.
Family is the most important thing we have.
It's about time we stand up for the kids.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I love those little clay people.
I know. Well, I don't want to put the cat out of the bag. But Danielle, what are you doing? Why are you not out here? You need to come and talk to us right away.
Come on, Danielle.
Get on out here, girl.
I want to know who cussed you out the other day.
Yes, Kelly's rooting for you too. I'm trying to get us back up here. Sorry, guys. I put us out there. Well, maybe it wants us to see it one more time. Let's see it one more time just in case.
Okay.
Nope. Woo! Yeah, the picture wasn't there, but the sound was, so that's good enough. Yes, sir. You got it, Brian. We will send that to you, buddy. But what I was saying is Becca so diligently has been working on some new little graphics that I think you're going to love. And they actually fall right into suit with the little people that you love so much. Except for they're all little ones of us. And they're really pretty cool. Yeah, they're really cool. She did a great job with them. I'm just saying, I just told them today that we need to figure out how to make them dance. It's cool. It's really cool how we're coming together, like the people that watch the shows with us, like the people that watch, like all of our viewers, they're amazing. Like I don't care if there's only a few, but these few I wouldn't trade in for 1,000. Like the people that come here every day, that watch us, that that ask questions of us, that feel like they're part of our family. Like, because we are a family. Because a lot of people here don't have families, right? Like, so this is it. This is what you get. We're a little rough and raw. You know what? Maybe from time to time we have a cigarette in your house, but whatever. Like it's a good core group of people. We're all friends and we're all, together in this. It's really cool. And we do appreciate all of you guys very much. And we've got a little, we were doing some things behind the scenes here that you guys don't see because we only want you guys to see the best of things. But we got a lot of good stuff coming up. We've been working on it for years. Because when we restructured everything a few months ago, and put people in places that we put them in, or not restructured, I wouldn't say, finally structured, I guess. Um, and it's the thing, it's starting to tick a little bit, like the reasons that Tiff and I had talked about doing some certain things with people and so on and so forth is starting to pan itself out and work the way. It's a tough little run, but like everybody's starting to get in the click. Uh, Danielle, come in the show whenever you're ready. Right now,
Um,
you know,
I,
yeah,
I
go.
want to I want to thank all the people that work behind our scenes too, um, because they're amazing. I
Hmm.
don't always get into all that because I got too much other shit going on.
Hmm.
And I do, you know, I'm in the NAACP. I'm going to be back on the legislative body committee again soon. I just got so much shit going on. But I do want to say this: I absolutely love when we come on because, and I've said this before, this is my happy place and this is like my time. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Hmm.
feel like I'm being pulled like you, right? Every which way. If the kids don't need something, the animals do. My husband does the NAACP. Everybody needs something. Um, so that's why it's so important that we have the people behind the scenes that are helping, and of course,
Hmm.
all the hosts that have been doing their shows and the new people that we're bringing on. I think our team is shaping up. Um, Dead weight's going to fall off.
Yep, shipping out
Yeah. Um, and
in
I
the
think
spring.
2026 is going to be a good year for all of us.
Hmm.
Some way. I have faith and I have hope.
Hmm. And those are the two things that we need to have, and that's what everybody you need to you need to hold on to that value. Like that's very valuable. Your hope and your faith, because if you don't have those things, then what are you living for? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about these groups and all this stuff. That's it. Your hope and faith. You know, you've seen Monsters Inc. Like theirs is the screams, but like us, it's faith and hope, right? So, um, yeah, 2026 is going to be. We have a lot of cool things. We have a lot of cool things that are coming up with everybody that we have. Danielle, whenever you're ready. Danielle and Brenda, like, everybody's been busy doing their things with the holiday season and all that, but no one's gone anywhere. No one's done anything. Everybody, sometimes they just need to do their things and that's it. But we're always here. We're always going to be here. We're not going anywhere. And we have huge things coming up on the horizon that we're going to need help from a lot of people. We will need a lot of help from people, and these are going to be active roles in our whatever you want to call what we are, our breaking news network, or whatever. And to know that we have such solid people that are around us is it's really good. We got a bunch, like Tiff said, we got new shows, we got new people coming in to host things. Um, Alicia's driving the ship. That way, it frees up us from being able to, advance the course. Um, and Alicia's doing a great job. We kind of just threw her into a moat it, like a big moat, and said, "Make this work for us." There's Danielle. There she is. Perfecto.
Turn
What's
your
up,
mic
dude?
on.
It's on.
Oh,
Is it
okay,
on?
girl. Who cussed
My
you out?
teeth. I forgot the girl's name, but apparently I wasn't supposed to post. I can let me take my teeth out. Damn it. I wasn't supposed to post in her thing or something. I don't even know.
You
But I just
posted.
post stuff, I mean, I just try to share it out because they share stuff on my page, so why not? But no, she wasn't having it. And then my brother was making a web page about changing changes in child welfare, he called it or something. And a lady, I forgot the lady's name, but boy, she was like drilling him in a chat, that the Florida group chat or something one day. And I'm like, he's disabled. Like, what's up? What the pardon my French, you know. Y'all,
Yes.
it's been a day. It's like colder than down here right now. Like I'm like, where did the sun go? I don't like winter. I don't like the
Yeah.
cold.
Right. So what's going on, Danielle? What have you heard? What do you know about things that we don't know about? Tell us some information that's coming down the pike that's going to give people some more hope and faith.
Well, I know Georgia ain't got no luck going on over here. But what you want to know? I mean, and what was
Are
it?
people starting up and they're going to start throwing these people out? Or is
Well,
Georgia tearing into these people's masses or what?
the
I'm not
thing
allowed
is
to this is only
the
this is what,
right. The director over here, though, is I don't understand why she is not getting the hint. Like, hello, us parents are not going to sit here and like step the down. Like, you let your husband put your kids in danger, and you still got them, but we're being punished, and these parents are losing their kids when you're not no different than none of us. Like, so why aren't you being held accountable? And like I made it, but I know that the House of Representatives over here is starting to step up. Like I like her, I forgot, Representative Sharon Cooper and Katie Dempsey. Oh, they are great. Like they are getting on the DHS commissioner's butt. Like I love it. Like they drilled her. I have to send y'all the clip of the meeting they had, but it was amazing. I was like, yes.
you know what? I want to put out a challenge. I want to put out a challenge right now to you, D, or to any of these people that are out here. I want to find out how many kids this past year were taken because one of the parents got a drunk driving. How many kids were taken out of the state of Georgia because I know for a fact there's a case in Tennessee right now that, get this, not only did the person wasn't drunk, but they still come after the kids, but they gave the husband who was just riding in the car, also charged him with drunk driving by proxy or something like that, which I never even have heard of, and it's BS charge and everything. But they put him in jail because of it, because it was a probation violation, and then he went to jail for 6 months on this stuff. So all of this was caused by drinking and driving, which wasn't even true, but they've lost their kids and now they're fighting for their kids, fighting back. So I want to know how many kids in the state of Georgia were taken because of a drunk driving.
And were they public officials? Because that seems to be like the key thing here, because now this dude's court date, it was supposed to be the same day I was supposed to be in court over here in my county, because that's where it happened at. She lives in my county, and I'm like, but now it's all private and stuff. Like, wait a minute. Now, if that was me, I would be on blast. Like, I would be the front page of the newspaper. I would be on Fox News, like front headlines. And this guy's, I mean, he endangered the kids. He was not a hit and run, but he ran from the scene or something. But it's the fact that she is the one that's supposed to be the leader of protecting our kids, and we're supposed to trust. I mean, I ain't got much faith in. I don't even trust her, like didn't trust her to begin with, and now, but then she want to sit there and boo like a little baby. Well, I just take full blame, lady. You should take more than full blame. You need to step the hell down, because apparently, I wish they had parent accountability court for these fud knockers, whatever you want to call them.
So
like where we can hold them accountable, and we'd be fair.
Have you heard anything out of DC that's going to be happening?
You know what? I'll have to get back with you on that. I probably have, and it has its, but I probably have. Because I've heard so much stuff in the last 2, 3, 5 days that I got a whole pad of paper over here that's probably got something written down. So I can definitely tell you. I'll definitely look at my notes.
So I want to play the news clip of this so people know what we were talking about with that. And while we're doing that, see what you.
They're saying Trump's supposed to be getting impeached. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
No,
that's not going to happen.
No, right. they just wanted to make a.
We'll get around the first round again, and then
that's like them going after RFK. I said, try it. I dare you. It's not gonna happen. He is cool as shit. I love that man.
I can't wait for our meeting with him.
Oh, I know. I keep pestering the shit out of him. I keep pestering him. I say, why can't we just do it in person, man? I said, I will be. Look, I said they will be. You have no idea. I said they would be there. They're with their bells on.
Disappeared one day all of a sudden because of all this business. She's just going to be gone. Where'd you go?
Like,
check this out. Check this out. Here's the news. Check this. This is what we're talking about, guys, right here.
and Children's Services has been arrested on charges of DUI with 2 children in the car.
He was arrested
Jason
2 weeks
Bro.
ago. Fox News' Denise Dillon is live in Bartow County, and Denise,
That's where I live.
the arrest took place.
He was going to
That's
Dan
right.
Wolf.
He has a number of charges
Yeah,
against him, including
that same
DUI
sheriff's
and
department
endangering a child.
even did the wrongful eviction on me.
Investigators say he had 2 young children with him at the time.
Yes.
When 43-year-old Jason Brose was pulled over by the Georgia State Patrol, court documents state the trooper observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, bloodshot, watery eyes, and mumbled in slow speech. Brose is the husband of Candace Brose.
There she is.
The Department of Child and Family Services that oversees the welfare of children. It was around 5 in the afternoon on October 16th. There was a 2-vehicle accident on Georgia 3 near Felton Road in Cartersville. Investigators say one of the vehicles, a Ford F-150, left the scene. A GSP trooper
So it was a
spotted
hit and
the
run.
truck matching the description. The trooper reported the driver was weaving heavily, crossing both the fog line and center line. The driver pulled into a gas station near Georgia 3 and Cedar Creek Road. That's when GSP says the trooper saw 2 children, 5 and 8 years old, in the truck. Investigators say when asked about the damage to the truck, the driver, Jason Brose, denied he had just been in an accident, saying it happened about 16 months ago. The trooper wrote
He didn't even realize
that
he was.
while speaking with Brose, he detected the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from his breath. Brose denied having any alcohol that day, yet according to the incident report, during a breathalyzer, he tested positive for alcohol. Brose consented to a field sobriety test, but according to the report, the trooper wrote he was too unsteady to do the walk and turn and one-leg stand test. His wife, Candace Brose, director of the State Department of Family and Child Services, arrived to pick up the children. A spokesperson from the Georgia Department of Human Services released a statement saying, in part, there are protocols in place to avoid conflicts of interest if a report is received about an agency employee.
I can't tell.
Jason Brose was booked into the Bartow County Jail on several charges, including driving under the influence and endangering a child under 14 while DUI. I tried to contact Candace Brose directly. I received an automatic response saying she was out of the office and had limited access to emails. The governor's office had no comment. Reporting live in Bartow County, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
Denise, thanks.
And she used to be Governor Kemp's, the governor over here, Brian Kemp. She used to be his secretary. Like, because there's a website that I've opengeorgia.gov, I think it's called, and that's where the transparency, like all their salaries, where they get reimbursed for travel and everything. And this lady, I'm like, she goes from this much to this much, and like she keeps, and that's the one that there's an $85 million funding gap going on down here right now. Excuse me, lady, not only did you just get put on like public, like your husband just totally put you on blast because there was no telling. Not only that, you must have had problems going on way before this that just made, and you should have stepped down or just took a break or something, because now she even looks like crap. Like she's wore out. But the thing is she keeps it's not going to happen. She's putting other kids' lives in danger, really, if you think about it. She's over a whole system that is supposed to be helping families, not hurting them. And if her own family can't even stay together, what the hell? And that's on her husband's stupidity, not and she's supposed to be running a whole state full. I mean, no, let alone the kids that are sent out of state and they can't even keep up with them. And now they're saying there's kids missing since all this. They're shutting services down. Yeah, there's no reunification being done right now or nothing. Where the $85 million funding gap? Why? When you got $70-something million sitting over there for the kids aging out of foster care that Governor Kemp said no to.
What is a funding gap?
Wow.
What is that? What exactly is a funding gap?
They are over, like they can't afford the budget. They can't afford to keep providing services for families. They can't keep doing. They can't afford to redo reunification. They need more of this. And no, I said take it out of your own paychecks.
So, what is so gap means that they had the money and then they couldn't do what they had.
There's a funding gap where they've spent it more somewhere where and now it's catching up to them. Like there's $85 million funding. They've spent too much here and not enough. And when that money is set for a certain, when the federal government gives it to them, it's set for a certain thing. Like if it's for kids aging out, it's for that. And that's what these grants are for. I mean, and there's even like trust funds for these programs too. Because even I found out, like with the courts, when you pay these extra fees and stuff, like the victim fund and all that, that's supposed to go to like the children's trust funds to provide these community services for the resources for these kids that need them, like the mental health and all that. Where's all that money? But then you got the court clerks that are able to pocket some of the fees. I don't get it. Like, there's the money. It's not now that it's being more transparent. It's starting to catch up with their ass. And now they're at $85 million. And now DFACS down here is on the verge of a total shutdown. And they're trying to blame it on the federal government shutdown. That was the reason why they had to spend more money. I said, bullshit. Reunification. They need to start reuniting these families. That's what they need to do.
That money was allocated last year.
Exactly. Ask them about them bonus checks. Ask them about them checks they got. They got 2 raises. I was so pissed. I said, what about them Gucci purses, y'all? Oh my God. I said, look at that Tesla. I mean, these caseworkers, they're not even supposed to be driving their personal vehicles. And this lady pulls up, like when they come out here in 2023, come out here in a brand new Chevy truck. I said, must be nice when I'm in a damn 2000 model truck. I'm like, my God. I said, you got another one I can get from you? Like, shit, I'm going to pay for my bills? Like, what the hell, man? But they're wanting these, like, and these kids that are disabled, even the adults, like my son, they come as an estate. I see on their case numbers. Mm-hmm. Why are they? My son is. It says estate. That's his case number. It's like 2023, and then estate. It's messed up. It's like, are they really trust fund babies? Like, what the hell? Like, no, it's not. No, they're trying to cover up with these different names, and then like, as soon as we start talking about it, they want to hush over here. Like, and these, they're all in it together. Like over here in the judges, I found some judges on the Board of Education with the schools. Like, what? Excuse me, no, what's going on there? You can't do that.
They're not supposed to hold 2 different offices at one time.
No, you can't. You cannot overlap. What was it? The judicial, and then there was the other one, the whatever they called them. See, here I go. But yeah, you can't overlap those. I looked it up. I really did. I swear to God, I did. But you can't put those 2 together. There's a code in Georgia that even says that's against the law. The codes and statutes here that you can't do that. And I was like, man, I have a screenshot of that. I said, oh, and then you can't even if a juvenile court judge that has been appointed to a superior court position now, why is she still overseeing juvenile court cases? And then her best friend's now a juvenile court judge. And that's the judge now with 2 lawsuits against her. I mean, that lady, you didn't last long in juvenile court, did you? But they're all, I'm learning the county that I've dealt with, I can tell you right now from my experience from when we did the guardianship in 2011 to now, it started in 2018, 2019. And it started when this one judge got appointed to juvenile court, and that was Judge Davis. And I'm sure if anybody's listening that's from Cherokee County, they will tell you, oh, I know what's her face. She's probably going through the roof right now when I said that name. Like, because it makes you sick just thinking that, and then they'll get us banned from a place. I mean, I can't even walk through the parking lot without them trying to call the police or something. Oh my God, she looked at me the wrong way. Like, what the fuck?
Or go to
I've
the
been in this
bank.
county for 30 years. What now?
Or go to the bank, park outside of there, and have your face mask on.
Oh God, look, you know, that would be that I'd be gone. They would arrest they'd get my ass kicked. But yeah, there's kids. That's the new hangout spot over here now for these kids. Did you know that? Like, we used to hang out on like the strip and on Barrett Parkway, like by the mall. No, apparently it's the banks. I said, don't be saying nothing when something happens to that ATM. But I would. Don't be. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. They need to start thinking about the kids and the younger generation, because that's our future. And there's nothing for them to do. Nothing. They're thinking about like what kids are wanting to go out and just worry about sitting at a bingo game and reading Reader's Digest. Like, I mean, I had to do that when I was a little bit still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We did that.
Right. But times aren't like when we were younger. I mean, I actually enjoyed that. You know, my grandma had the whole stack of Reader's Digest, but now it's like, oh my gosh, you know, like my daughter, it's all about money. I'm like, girl, you want some what? I said, Uggs. I said, geez. I said, I said, you better call your daddy. And then he'll call me and tell me, oh, she got me this week. Oh, did she? Oh, how much she gets in her this week? You know, like, I said, hey, I warned him when she was little. I said, boy, you better have a lot of money in your pocket, Johnny, because good luck. And I'll be damned if she ain't living up to it. She done hit 3 curves. She don't know how to drive.
Oh, no.
And she's supposed to be studying to be a neurosurgeon. I said, oh shit. But then but she also, well, and then the other thing is you got to think about the long-term effects that it's having on these, when you have family that's doing it to them, and these CPS workers that are brainwashing these kids that when they get them. I mean, like, did you know, it's Cherokee County, Georgia, Kelly, Cherokee County, Georgia. North Carolina was under scrutiny too. I've been there. I mean, I've known people that live there, and there was like a bunch of caseworkers up there that got fined and fired and everything a couple years ago. And they had a lot.
Weren't you going to North Carolina a couple years ago when that mountains were flooded, something like that?
Yeah, with Hurricane Helene. Yeah, I did go. I went up there, but I only stayed like one day, 2 days, because that's when it first went on. That was when Carrie was. And that was just
because they were stealing kids. They were
yes.
The kids, so
CPS was coming and not because they couldn't be in campers. Or tents. That's what they were saying. But that's all them people had. When I tell you, literally, there was nothing there. Like, I've never seen. And my other friend, she was actually going on like the search and rescue because she was a nurse, and there were people stuck up in the mountain. Like they and I had people even hit me up on Facebook from Messenger. Can you please get me in touch with somebody in Burnsville? My parents need oxygen. They need this. You know how I mean, look, there was nights that it's hard. It was hard, but I said, Danielle, don't be acting all emotional now because you can't be doing this shit. You got to be the strong one for these people. Like, don't be acting like a baby because they can. This is for them. Don't be, Danielle, stop your I had to self-talk myself because here I am like, man, am I really that much of a wuss that I can't even, I mean, I got to be here. And it was because I don't want to hear stories like that, you know, I mean, and know that I've been there and seen it and know what's going on and seen on TikTok. And then what happened with them the Texas, or was it that camp with them kids?
Yeah. Yep, the ones that took they took all them out, yep.
But sometimes you wonder if it ain't the government messing with the things.
Entertainment.
But here's the thing.
Right.
There's no law,
Hurricane
rule, regulation. There's nothing that says you have to live in a brick and mortar.
No. Right. And up there was a gentleman that he was a like contractor and a builder. And he said he even freaking stood right there in front of that mayor up there, whatever that guy was, because it was even the guy that runs the city or the town over there that wanted to. He was like, "No, you're not doing that." I said, "Dude, are you all about the money? Is that what it is? You just want this?" I said, "Well, where's that? Where's the funding? Where is he coming in with the money?" I said, "Because I don't see them coming to help these people. Where's FEMA? FEMA was here for what? Not even a week, not even 3 days. They didn't do shit for them people. It was the Cajun Navy, and I think I said that right, and then the other advocate like groups. When it comes to and then I mean, finally, you know, the government did, but still, when I tell you, when people come together, that was when people really came together. Why can't we do that for the kids though? I don't get it. And that's what somebody said up there in North Carolina. Why they said, if we can come together like this and help each other, why can't we do it for the children? Why can't we do it when? Because and I'll be honest with you, when CPS started coming over there and knocking to get them kids, people would run. I swear to God. Why? Why? That person probably got made fun of in school. Okay, why are you running from them? They're probably thinking that that's a rent-a-cop in my eyes. Like that's nothing. That lady, that person's nothing. All they are is the devil with the badge. That's it. That's all they did. Because that's why I mean, they just think they're big and bad just because they grabbed a badge and a clipboard. No, like I mean, I got a clipboard somewhere.
Yeah, I got one too. Check this out, right? So I found this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You know how like you're cleaning out your stuff and you're like, where the hell did I get this from? I'm sure Tiff probably sent it to me.
I do that all the time. I find so much stuff. I find stuff I forgot I owned yesterday. Like,
yeah, I know, right? That's why I write everything down in a book now.
And then that's just
everything I come up with. But check
sometimes
this out, right?
that's what you help me.
So this is HR 867. It's Title II, Incentives for Providing Permanent Families for Children. And right at the beginning, it says, in general, Part E of Title IV of the Social Security Act, 42 U.S.C. 670 through 679, is amended by inserting after Section 473 the following. And then it goes to 473A, adoption incentive payments. So for those of you out there who have said they don't get incentives, it says it right here.
They do.
In their order, adoption incentive payments. Okay. It says grant authority subject to an availability of such amounts of may be provided in advance in appropriations acts for this purpose. The Secretary shall make a grant to each state that is an incentive eligible state for fiscal year in an amount equal to the adoption incentive payments payable to the state under this section for the fiscal year, which shall be payable in the immediately succeeding fiscal year. Now, Tiff's always saying they already paid for the year before.
Mm-hmm, they are.
Eligible state. A state is an incentive eligible state for a fiscal year if the state has a plan approved under this part of the fiscal year. The number of foster child adoptions in the state during the fiscal year exceeds the base number of foster child adoptions for the state for the fiscal year. This means that they're saying, no, last year's number is not good enough. You need to go further.
We need more.
We'll give you more money. All right.
And that's right. In
the case that the fiscal years 2001 and 2002, the state provides health insurance coverage to any child with special needs, as determined under Section 473C, for whom there is in effect an adoption assistance agreement between the state and an adoptive parent. So these special needs kids will only get this insurance if they already have an adoption set up for them.
And like with my daughter, they put a fake diagnosis on my daughter when my aunt had my son as well after my mother passed. And I do have something to share about child support too that I just found out today, but with Title 4E, I believe it is. But and it is a good thing. But what was I saying? Oh, my aunt was getting funds for something like that, but it wasn't on the insurance side. It was on like to have like a kinship and you're a relative or you're taking care of. They pay you to take care of the kid. Like when they I mean and they offered this money out. Like, oh well, you know what? Since you got so and so, here's you $5,000. Like, excuse me, but yet you can't provide us with services to help us get back up on our feet. Like, what the? It made me sick when my aunt told me that. My aunt up in Blue Ridge.
Well,
she's like, they offered me a
contract. She had to become a foster parent.
And that's exactly what, well, I think they were like not the aunt that helped me get them home, my other, the one that's from the beginning that started all this shit, the one that had my oldest daughter. But they were, she's still trying to come after me for child support. But I did find out because and you know how they're doing it too. Here's the whole like Title A, like Title 4E, 4E adoption assistance, Title 4E kinship guardianship assistant, and it says if it's open-ended entitlement, mandatory and it'll tell you the funding level right here. Here's a whole list of them right there.
Is that for Georgia or for everybody?
This is for everybody. This is the
to
federal funding streams commonly used to support child welfare.
Oh, you need to send me that in a picture, all that.
I will. I got you. I will. I got it all.
Alicia wants it too.
Okay, I'll give it. And go ahead, Darren.
Go ahead, Darren.
In general, except as provided in paragraph 2, the adoption incentive payment payable to the state for a fiscal year under this section shall be equal to the sum of $4,000 multiplied by the amount, if any, by which the number of foster child adoptions in the state during the fiscal year exceeds the base number of foster child adoptions for the state. Hold on. $2,000 multiplied by the amount by which the number of special needs adoptions in the state during the fiscal year exceeds the base number of special needs adoptions for the state for the fiscal year. But this is where I want everybody to listen, right? Because this is where we got them dead nuts. No one's paying attention to this stuff. So this is why we tell everybody that they need to pay attention, because if they, where did I just have it? I just circled it up here. Oh, and by the way, it's not to exceed $20 million per year.
Right.
Get this. There's requirements to consider effect of project on terms and conditions of certain court orders. In considering an application to conduct a demonstration project under this section that has been submitted by the state, in which there is an effect a court order determining that the state's child welfare program has failed to comply with the provisions of Part B or E or of Title IV or with Constitution of the United States, the Secretary shall take into consideration the effect of approving the proposed project on the terms and conditions of the court order related to the failure to comply.
That's
Darren, send me that.
They're supposed to be,
but I will. I'll find it for you and I'll give it to you.
See, and that's where a lot of people don't realize that, and that's a way to defund their butts right there. Because if we got to start holding these accountable, like more. I mean, you know how they determine parenting? You see this page right here, this paper? They give you A and B. This is parenting class here in Georgia, okay? And I got the whole curriculum. You see hold on, let me turn my freaking camera around. But this is how they determine my parenting, okay, which didn't change much over time. Well, now of course my freaking camera. But see how this? Oops, now where am I at? See how this line is? This is how they determine my parenting skills. I was a zigzaggy line at the very beginning, and then I was a straight line when I got done with parenting class. And you'll never believe what referred me to parenting class. And this is where child support comes in. So if you have an open, that's how, and the pamphlet, like how they determine you by this, your parenting skills, so I'm a medium risk, which, you have to go to assessingparenting.com because it's a piece of paper and a freaking computer that determines how I'm going to parent. When I had my kids, it didn't come with no instruction manual, because I'm telling you what, I was like, my mom told me I was like the lab rat when I was born. Like they had to, I was the test child. Like they did. And then my baby brother just had it made. He was golden. Like, cause they had already went through the testing out theory with me and my brother, like learning. Cause she's like, that's how it was described to me when I was growing up. My nanny even said even more stuff, like, cause she was even older, but things are different, but we don't, it's not like we can read a book. I mean, there's books out there for parenting, but how can they go by a piece of paper like that, though? That's what I don't get. To determine if I'm going to get my kid back or not.
No, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to show you. because Fostering Reality has this new video out. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, and I know that Tiff needs
Well, you-
to. Do you want me
You
to
were
play
just
it?
talking about.
Or do you want me to end it with that way?
You were just talking about funds.
Yes, talk it out while I find this for us, G.
Okay, this is something I found for the children with SSI funding that are in foster care and stuff, and it's called restricted funds. You know, it says children who concurrently receive SSI and IVE eligible. The children's payment should be reduced by the amount of IVE per diem payment, and the child's SSI payment should be reduced by the amount of still eligible for reduced SSI payments. The fund should not be used towards the child's per diem or other foster care related costs. If a child receives a full SSI check, that the accounting should never pay their foster care per diem or other foster care state approved expenditures from IVE funding. If you see this happen, you should notify the caseworker immediately. Ain't that what? I don't get that. Like, is that not contradiction? So yeah. Anyhow, but see, all these kids should have money, and when they age out, they should have a account that's called a trust fund account for them. And my son had like money when he got put into foster care. He had savings and everything, and now he's got nothing. I said, now my son's a little hustler for his money. He will go H. Like, he ain't signing nothing. He told them. He said, y'all can. That's what he said to them, because he's an adult. He said that's his money. But the thing is my son's not dumb. You know, he knows. He told me, this one lady, she must like getting her hair done on his dime. He's glad he pays for it. I said, damn it, boy. Like, geez. But it's crazy what they're doing, because it's saying that they're pretty much if a kid goes back home and they receive an SSI while they're in foster care, they don't get it when they go home. Like, they're saying SSI wants you to send everything back, them to send it back, and you have to start. Now, why would you do that? Why would you put I know why, just to get the kid back. That's what it is. Like, my son went in, he was then put in foster care he already was receiving it. But when he came home, no. I said, so they'll milk them dry, but they don't, when they send them off to the world, it's like, or send them back home, but they won't help us parents that struggle or whatever we're going through to get back up on our feet, when that's what I thought the system was built for. That's what I was always told.
So
that's what it is built for, but that's not what they use it for.
Right. Yeah. So watch this. Dee's new video right here will explain everything.
Okay.
This is our boy right here, Fostering Reality, guys. Check this. Don't watch this video.
Hey TikTok, it's been about a year since I stepped onto this platform and started publicly teaching the architecture of CPS, the back end. And I know this system. I grew up in it. I've survived it, and I've tracked it for years. What I didn't expect, though, was how fast after the final components were installed that the switch would be flipped. That happened. I've been clocking this thing my entire life, and I thought we had around 3 more years, but we don't even have 3 minutes. The final switch was thrown on November 13th, 2025, in the form of Executive Order 14359, fostering the future for American children and families. I learned a long time ago that when you're tracking a machine that updates in real time, you can't just keep marching forward without sharpening your tools. You have to stop, you have to look at the work in front of you, look around, check where you're headed, and ask yourself one thing: is this still valid? And I'm not talking about rights lists, ADA arguments, law, or legal jargon that people reach for after a case is already open and a wedge is already driven between a parent and a child. This happens inside a parent's patriae court. That work exists, and it has a place, but that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm talking about. This lane belongs to the advocates, and to be clear, I am not an advocate. Advocates operate in what I call a containment zone. They know how to and are willing to function inside a system that was designed to sandbox parents. Sometimes they get kids home, sometimes they get judges removed, sometimes they get cases closed. That matters, and thank God. Here's the part that people miss. The moment that courtroom win happens, the system absorbs it. Every motion, strategy, workaround, and pressure point. Then it updates, it hardens, and the walls get thicker for the next family. That's why it feels like this thing keeps growing, because it does. So, while it helps one family, it quietly makes the system more efficient against the next one. That's exactly why I target the system, not the case. Think Battlefield, not courtroom. Advocates are medics. They're heroes. They rush in, they stop the bleeding, they get you back on your feet. I'm not downplaying a child returned. That's real and necessary. But that's not my role. I'm viewing this through my own experience and my own less emotional driven perspective. If it's meant, I would be a defense contractor. I don't need your story, I don't need your variables, and I don't need to know which hotline call or poverty markers pulled you in. My job is to stop the system from targeting you in the first place. A year ago, I said my goal was to end separation, and that hasn't changed. And I don't show up after the damage. I'm trying to neutralize the battlefield so a medic never has to even open their kit. And that's why this audit matters now more than ever. I'm working at ending separation. To stay current, I do these mini audits once a month and then a big one at the end of the year. That's what I'm working on right now. It's the end of my first year on TikTok and my 40th year tracking CPS in reality. To fully grasp or even somewhat
Jesus Christ.
Understand how we got face to face with the worst thing that humans have ever made, I'm about to walk you through the factual proof, not opinion. Here's the real-time build. And yes, as always, please check my math. This system did not appear by accident. It didn't just drift here. It was assembled layer by layer, law by law, incentive by incentive, until it became powerful enough to do what it's about.
What it's doing. Yep.
To you next. You can't understand where we're going without understanding how we got here. From what I can tell, this digital computerized beast system, not CPS, but the operating system that does all the work, designed to make money while our families are shattered, it all started in 1974 with CAPTA, the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, signed by Richard Nixon. The promise was simple and seductive. We finally take child abuse seriously. Federal money flows to states that build reporting laws, hotlines, and CPS agencies, national definitions, and prevention grants. What actually happened is the federal door opened. Before CAPTA, there was no unified national reporting pipeline.
Jesus.
Foster care existed, but it was smaller, fragmented, mostly a poverty overflow. CAPTA paid states to build intake machines, mandatory reporters, investigation units, and once that infrastructure existed, reports exploded. And yes, real abuse was identified, but at the same time, poverty, stress, housing instability, disability, and family conflict started getting coded as maltreatment risk. The numbers tell you everything. Around 318,000 children in foster care in 1972. By 1977, roughly 502,000. That jump happens before the 1980s even arrive. The pipeline is already feeding removals. 4 years later, 1978, ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, is signed by Jimmy Carter. This wasn't reform optimism, this was damage control. Federal data showed that between 25 and 35% of Native children had been removed from their families before ICWA. Entire tribes hollowed out. My own mother, Full Dakota Sioux, taken off her reservation and given to a white family. Her last name was Jumping Eagle, changed to Andrews. ICWA slows some of the worst abuses and gives tribes legal standing. But of course, and as we know, enforcement is patchy, states fight it, and courts destabilize it. Native kids remain overrepresented to this day. The system does not relinquish power easily. Then, 1980 hits, and this is the moment the machine gets its engine. The Adoption Assistance and Child Welfare Act, signed by Jimmy Carter. The promise is balance, reasonable efforts to prevent removal, reunification, permanency, adoption assistance, but what it actually did is it locked in Title 4E. Title 4E is not a neutral funding. It's an open-ended federal reimbursement stream for foster care and adoption, not for keeping families housed, fed, or stable, but states spend first, then bill the federal government back, per child, per day, per placement, per service, and everything is audited. This law separates authority from labor. States hold legal custody, and contractors do the work. No one owns the whole chain, and because reasonable efforts are not funded, they become a checkbox, not a barrier. The system learns fast. By the early 1990s, foster care is already swollen, and then speed is added. In 1994 and 1996, MEPA, the Multi-Ethnic Placement Act, and the Inter-Ethnic Adoption Provisions are signed by Bill Clinton. The pitch is remove race barriers and stop delaying permanency. What
they wanted to
What
rush
actually
it.
happens is
15 to
agencies
18
become
months.
legally cautious about honoring cultural and community ties. Some kids get adopted faster, but many lose connection permanently. This hits Black and Native families the hardest, right as the drug war and mass incarceration are feeding neglect cases straight into CPS. Then 1997 drops like a hammer. ASFA, Adoption and Safe Families Act, also signed by Bill Clinton. 15 to 22 months, filed to terminate parental rights, adoption bonuses for states, reasonable efforts, waivable. So, this is where time becomes a weapon. Parents are now racing a clock that does not pause for poverty, disability, housing shortages, or service delays. Adoption becomes financially rewarded, and the numbers spike. In 1999, foster care peaked at about 567,000 children, the highest recorded. Later, this gets sold as clearing backlog, as progress, as reform actually working. But what it actually does is it locks in a high separation system through the late 1990s and early 2000s. And that's when something finally clicked for me. Because this is right around the time I was 16. My case was still open, I was still a ward of the state, and I had the same caseworker for over 5 years. She'd called every couple weeks like clockwork. Then one day, she just didn't. No warning, no transition, and that had a different meaning in those days. No conversation, just silence. I wasn't in trouble. I was actually working full-time, and I was enrolled in a GED and state diploma program. I wasn't escalating services, I wasn't adoptable, and I also wasn't costing much anymore. That's when the math hits. From 1999 to 2012, the foster care population dropped by about 170,000 kids. That's roughly 13,000 kids per year, about 36 kids per day, every day, for over a decade. That's not kids being healed overnight. That's kids being exited, quietly, legally, on and off paper. And that's when I realized what actually happened to me. I got cheaper. I went from being a line item that helped justify a high census to dead weight in a system under pressure to bring its numbers down. So, I wasn't resolved. I wasn't transitioned. I was simply removed from the count. My medical coverage got cut, my oversight disappeared, and my lifeline didn't taper off, it snapped. And because I wanted out so badly, I didn't even notice at the time. I was just a kid. That's where a lot of us went. By 2012, the number is down to about 397,000, and that decline gets praised. What never gets counted is how many older youth were quietly aged out, exited, or cut loose to make those books balance. When she stopped calling, I just left that home and I never looked back until now. That's not reform, that's erasure. In 2008, Fostering Connections is signed by George W. Bush. Kinship care, sibling placement, extended foster care to age 20.
Till age 21.
Helpful changes. No change to the incentive engine. Then comes the Obama era, and this is where the system stops pretending it's just social work and fully embraces management science. Barack Obama does not sell child welfare as punishment or rescue. He sells it as optimization, evidence-based practice, performance outcomes, data-driven governance. The promise is accountability, measure what works, eliminate bias, improve outcomes through analytics. What actually happened is the legitimization of metrics as authority. Judgment gives way to models, discretion gives way to dashboards, and risk becomes a score. Under Obama, SACWIS, the statewide automated child welfare information system, is no longer treated as a back-end record system. States are pressured to modernize, standardize, and integrate. Federal guidance increasingly ties funding and compliance to measurable outcomes. Contractors, consultees, and academic partners are embedded to evaluate, predict, and optimize child welfare operations. This is where CCWIS, Comprehensive Child Welfare Information System, is born in spirit before it's finalized in law. Data is no longer documentation, it becomes governance. Caseworkers become data generators and families become data subjects. Children become longitudinal records, and once data becomes the authority, whoever controls the models controls the outcomes. In 2014, the Preventing Sex Trafficking and Strengthening Families Act arrives under Obama. The promise is protection, normalcy, reducing congregate care, empowering youth, helpful edges, but the deeper function is standardization, tracking placements, monitoring movement, expanding data capture under the language of safety. Then, in 2016, the CCWI final
You
rules.
know how you said
This
caseworkers
is
with the
white
data?
revolution, modular systems, interpolarity, data sharing, vendor ecosystems, and state are told to modernize or lose federal support. Surveillance architecture is now federal expectation, not optional innovation. If SACWIS was the digital nervous system, CCWIS is the interface layer that connects the beast to the rest of the world. Then, 2018, Family First Prevention Services Act, signed by Donald Trump. It was part of the Bipartisan Budget Act. The promise is historic. Use 4E money to prevent removals, keep kids at home. On paper, states can use 4E for up to 12 months of approved mental health, substance use, and parenting services for families whose kids are candidates for foster care. Group homes get limited, and in reality, it still will not pay for rent, childcare, transportation, or poverty fixes. Surveillance remains, parents are still coded, scored, and treated services.
And they're supposed to cancel.
Become compliance gates, not relief. Then comes the Biden era, and this is where the system is stress tested at scale. Joe Biden does not introduce a new child welfare engine. He proves
Why
that
he
the
signed it
existing
behind
one
the
can
closed doors.
operate under emergency conditions. COVID changed everything. Emergency declarations loosened the guardrails. Massive federal spending floods the states, and data sharing between agencies accelerated. Eligibility systems crosstalk. Privacy barriers bend, and surveillance is justified as safety. Speed is justified as necessity, and the promise is crisis response. Keep people safe. Keep systems running. What actually happened is proof of concept. The system demonstrated it could scale rapidly, coordinate across agencies, and track individuals across programs, and enforce compliance through benefit and restrictions. Under Biden, temporary flexibility showed what permanent governance could look like. Identity verification, benefit tracking, risk prioritization, cross-system analytics, child welfare, healthcare, housing, education, and justice data begin to align. Once that alignment exists, it never fully rolls back. By the time the emergency ends,
I can back him up on
architecture
this.
remains. Then we hit November 13th, 2025. Executive Order 14359, Fostering the Future for American Children and Families, signed by Donald Trump. Back in office. The promise sounds benevolent. Education, jobs, housing, scholarships, private partnerships for foster youth, and those aging out. Some kids will benefit. That part is real. But here's what actually changed. The federal government aligned the systems for the next phase. The order reinforces faith-based partnerships and signals protection. It accelerates data monetization, coordination, and analytics. And it does this without touching CAPTA, without touching 4E, without touching ASFA timelines,
All
and
about
without
the
touching
numbers.
CCWIS. States cannot casually resist this because Title 4E is audited. If federal foster shifts and the state is deemed non-compliant, they risk disallowance, retroactive clawbacks, years of payments questioned. Administrators will not fight that. They're just going to pre-comply quietly. So now, the machine is fully assembled. Reporting gate from CAPTA, money engine from 4E, time weapon from ASFA, surveillance architecture from CCWIS, analytics legitimacy from the Obama era, scale proof from the Biden era, downstream stabilization and partner shielding from the EO. And this is where people miss the scale of what just happened. This system is tested first on foster children because foster children have always had the least power. The least
place that they think that would be their sanctuary was
they
not.
live entirely inside state custody, state records, and state permission structures. That makes them the safest population to experiment on. New assessments, behavioral scoring, compliance tracking, predictive flags, outcome measurement. All of it. It can be deployed, adjusted, and normalized with almost no resistance. And once those mechanisms stabilize there, they don't stay there. They move outward to the populations already managed through eligibility, reporting, and compliance frameworks. Veterans, elderly people, welfare recipients,
Disabled.
people with substance
Abuse.
use disorders, probation and parole, disability systems, housing programs,
Child
and
support.
immigration services. Each group already lives inside a partial version of this architecture right now anyways. Foster care is just where it gets refined. Then it converges. At that point, participation is no longer optional. You're not opting in, you're already enrolled.
Right.
old because your interaction with housing, healthcare, education, employment, or assistance already
You
generates the
receive
data,
any kind of help.
whether you touch the interface or not. The system knows when your rent is due, when support is required, when compliance is missed, when intervention is triggered. This is where digital identity, payment infrastructure, and income distribution mechanisms begin to merge.
And he's
Not
right.
as charity and not as reform, but as administration. When eligibility and compliance are already centralized, the most efficient next step is centralized delivery. Universal basic income becomes a logical endpoint, not as a moral decision, but as a systems decision. A single programmable mechanism that distributes funds, enforces conditions, records behaviors, and closes the loop. Digital wallets and blockchain are not added for freedom. They're added because they create permanent records, programmable rules, and real-time oversight. Money stops being assistance and becomes the interface. The system pays through you. It tracks the transactions and it through the conditions attached. That's why this is not subtle. It's not incremental. This is a transition point, and we're no longer in the era of child welfare reform. We're in the era of population management through data, incentives, and compliance.
All about
this
a
was built on
system.
purpose, whether by coordination or convergence. It no longer matters. The machine is assembled. The test phase is operational. The expansion phase has queued up and begun parsing. The new era of separation is live.
Here's the new world order. Yep. And you know, I wrote down a couple things that he said, because what I was saying earlier, like about the child support situation, he's right. With child support, recently I discovered that they referred me, child support referred me. That's why all these programs, you got drug court, you got all these, so they referred me to access and visitation, right? With the whole, my family had guardianship and I was in arrears and they referred me. That's the first time ever. And this has been just the last, my son was in foster care in 2023. So this was 2023, 24. And I found out and the lady was right. And that what he says backs it up. What they do is if you comply, the non-custodial parent complies, that the custodial parent don't, Title 4E, they're supposed to shut your case. Boom. And then that right there, and that's their way, because they are using the federal funding to enforce these child support orders, and which is bullshit, you know, and but then you got visitation. So they're trying to cover it all up, but make it seem like it's a good thing when really at the end of the day, it's not, because it's just opening the door for another child to be traumatized by these assholes. And then the caseworkers with the data, Candace Broche, when he said that about the numbers, oh yeah, she said she looked at the House of Representatives in a meeting like 2 months ago and said, oh, if y'all want the numbers, I'm really good with numbers. I can get you I can get the numbers for you. And that right there just hit a nerve with what he just said, because of what the DHS commissioner here said. Oh yeah, it's all about numbers. It's all about that data, just getting them through the system. And it's sickening. It's sickening.
Mm-hmm. Tiff, what's your thoughts? You're busy.
Well, right now I don't have any because it's bedtime.
That's right.
I'm coming.
Yes. So everyone, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. But everybody
you need to get that to Osiris. Get it to
I'll
Osiris.
get it to Osiris immediately. Danielle, thanks for coming out.
Me?
Appreciate you being on. We love when you come on. We love when you join us.
Well, they've been more they're trying to be more transparent with stuff that they should have been transparent with a couple, they should have been transparent the whole time.
20 years
and
ago.
That's, yes. And like this whole child support thing, I'm like, my daughter's 18. Y'all ain't, but they're still trying to enforce it. And I just sit like they think but what they do is they play Ring Around the Rosie. They send it to the neighboring counties. Like they'll send it to the county I live in. And then if they don't get no satisfaction there, they'll take it and send it to the county my daughter. It's stupid. And then I have a feeling they're trying to go for my youngest. And that's going to happen. She's still a minor and I'll be damned. I ain't touching my baby girl. No.
Keep fighting. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do, because they'll break. Trust me, they'll break one day. It takes the life out of me. They will break. All right, y'all.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
That damn kitty.
I thought that was his hand waving.
Yeah.
We know it's all about the money, we know they lie, we know this is corruption. Does CPS know what they are doing to the children?